Any anything else? Yeah, that hap- that happened to me at the restaurant I worked at in high school. Believe it or not.
Check 1 2 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. It's probably not plugged in. Oh, is it on? Hello? Yeah. Okay, 3 2 1. We are on the College of Carroll. Carroll College, we're on the campus. I sure did not date Carroll College.
That's great, Dave.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. I got my scorecard in check.
Not really sure why you would want to have this stat on the team. Team leaders errors. I don't think we need that. I think we need to talk about
Who is
that
it?
one. Kenneth Thomas.
Oh, I'll put a little star next to it.
Also, Ella Seaman. They're like 187. So that's not that many though.
53 degrees. Wind gusts 11 miles per hour.
Bryn not 1,000 fielding percentage.
Oh, now we're talking. Second of Oh yeah.
Usually they do. So. So I can't believe that's a really a sort of thing. You're watching college softball on the campus of Carroll College. Welcome, everybody, to the capital city, Helena, Montana, for this Cascade Collegiate Conference matchup, the final series of the regular season between the Carroll College Fighting Saints and the Providence Argos. I'm Austin Parr. Welcome, everybody, alongside Jack Marshall. And Jack, similar to the last couple of years for the Carroll College Fighting Saints, playoff implications on the line against Providence today.
Yeah, that's right. They're 2 games ahead of Warner Pacific, a team that does have the tiebreaker over Carroll College. But obviously both teams have 4 games left, counting these 2 as actually the Saints win 2 and you're in the playoffs, or maybe hope the other team loses 1, or regardless if you're Carroll College, you don't want to be hoping another team loses, you want to be hoping you win.
The mindset has got to be you win and you're in. And of course for Carroll, they've got their number 1 ace on the mound, Kennedy Benner. She has been solid for the Fighting Saints all season long. As far as Providence goes, your mindset's got to be they would love nothing more than to end the season possibly for Carroll today.
Yeah, that's right. Probably the best road trip of the year for Carroll College. You get to go down through the Missouri River and play Carroll College.
Sounds good. Okay. Is this the order? You're watching college softball on the campus of Carroll College, of course, live on SWX. Welcome, everybody, to the capital city. It's Carroll College and the Providence Argos with playoff implications on the line. I'm Austin Parr alongside Jack Marshall. And the mindset for Carroll today, Jack, simply you win and you're in.
Two games and you're into the playoffs is all that really matters at Carroll College. You just got to win 2 or hope Warner Pacific loses 2 for that last spot in the playoffs.
Well, the biggest thing for Carroll, they have their ace on the mound today. That is Kennedy Benner, the 2021 Montana Gatorade Player of the Year, the Billings product. But let's take a look at the starting lineups for those Providence Argos. And, of course, it starts at the top with Cassidy Yeoman.
Yeah, that's right. She's kind of the motor of this team, the team leader in most of the offensive stats, and obviously a good defensive player out in center field.
Batting .383 on the year, slugging .553 for these Providence Argos. They would love nothing more than to possibly end this season for Carroll today, even though they won't be in the postseason themselves.
That's right. Obviously, probably the best road trip of the year for them, just coming down. Not too long of a drive, especially they play a lot of teams out in the Pacific Northwest. So coming down that beautiful canyon on the Missouri River, I'm sure they're feeling good today, and it's a beautiful afternoon for some softball.
Kennedy Venner on the mound for Carroll College. Of course, she is number 3 in the Cascade Collegiate Conference in total strikeouts. 105 strikeouts on the year for Venner. What an exciting day of softball. Beautiful day here in the capital city, Helena, Montana. We're excited to have you. Thanks so much for tuning in. Of course, brought to you live on SWX. Couldn't ask for a better day here to end the regular season.
Yep. And just one thing off the top, Coach Shauna Juarez of Carroll College thrown out of their game on Saturday, arguing a play at the plate at the end of the game, and by rule you have to sit out a game. So we got a doubleheader coming at you live. First game we're not going to see Coach Juarez in the dugout, but she'll head on down there for a game 2, so just something to keep an eye on. Bill Cockhill, the interim coach.
You are suspended for one game if you're thrown out at any point. First pitch is going to be outside, ball 1, and we are underway here on the campus of Carroll College. Of course, at Nelson Stadium, a bit of an interesting site here, playing on a football field. Beautiful brand new turf field here for Carroll.
We brought you the first ever football game on the turf here at Nelson Stadium earlier, earlier in the sports season, school year, but last year when they played Montana Tech. But first ever softball game live on TV in the football stadium on the turf.
1-1 count. It's interesting, when you play on turf, the ball simply bounces different. I don't know if you've ever experienced that, but
no.
I've played on turf a lot, and the ball tends to skip, so it's kind of something to look out for, especially when the ball is driven to the outfield. 1-2 pitch is swung on and miss, and right away, as we talked about it in the start, Venner with a strikeout. That's another one for Kennedy, and a great start for the Fighting Saints.
Yeah, obviously only a junior. She had a really good last year as a sophomore, Kennedy Venner did, out of Billings, Montana.
It's just the start you want if you're a Carroll College softball fan.
There's an Enos up now, second baseman.
Lizzie Barra out in left field for the Fighting Saints. Taylor Sayers in the hot corner, third base.
Yeah, Taylor played a lot of catcher in high school, and obviously here for Carroll too, so it'll be interesting to see how she does at the third bag.
1-1 count, and I think you can say that for Venner. She's very solid when she gets ahead of the count early and often against these hitters. And that's what she's done to start this one thus far. 2-1 count, top of the first inning, just getting underway here. Playoff implications on the line for, at least for Carroll, obviously not for Providence, but still a lot to play for.
Warner Pacific, the team that they're 2 games ahead of, has the tiebreaker over them after came here and beat them in a series actually here in Nelson Stadium. But they play Bushnell, who's lower than both the two in the thing, along with Providence.
Carroll College leads the all-time series 23-21. That one's sent to out to right center field. Catch is made. That's Reese Phillips out there. Two down here in the opening inning for Carroll. Nobody on.
Obviously cool to see kind of the yardage distance, how far the outfielders have to run directly kind of in front of us, Austin. You can see through the 10, the 20, and obviously the right fielder there had to go about like 13, 15 yards to make that catch, which is kind of a thing that some maybe don't realize when you're watching baseball or softball at home, how far some of the fielders have to run.
It's a great point, especially the outfielders. That one's going to be fouled off on the left side. Venner now ahead in the count, 1-2, 2 outs, top of the first inning. Something to watch out for Carroll. In their 10 conference wins this season, they're averaging 9.4 runs per game. And in their 17 conference losses, they only average just 1.9. So I think that number has got to be between about the 4 and 6 mark, and they would feel pretty comfortable against this Providence team.
Yeah, and obviously a pretty crazy conference they play in. Some of the top teams in the country at the top of the conference. We're going to talk to Charlie Gross kind of later on in this broadcast, but the AD here at Carroll College, and obviously changing to the Frontier Conference, which the Saints will do next year. It's going to be interesting, and hard to say it won't be better for them for just the level of competition they're going to have to play against.
2-2 count. Pitch on the way. That's going to be fouled off on the right side.
Both these teams, a lot of Montana talent. Obviously, also Providence going to move to the Frontier along with Carroll College for softball, but a lot of Montana talent, but they're competing against teams that have a lot of really good Pacific Northwest softball talent. There is a lot of talent up there and out there in Washington, Oregon.
That pitch is going to be sent up in the air. Sayers coming in, makes the catch, and that'll do it. Scoreless first inning for Carroll College and Venner, 0-0 on the campus of Carroll College. You're watching college softball on SWX. Welcome back, everybody, on the campus of Carroll College. It's Providence and it's Carroll. Let's take a look at the starting lineup for the Fighting Saints. You got Lizzie Barra at the top, leading it off for Carroll, Katie Slater, and then, of course, the big-time hitter, Kenna Thomas in the 3 slot.
Yeah, obviously a lot of times you see the team's best hitter on the 3-hole. Thomas had a great year, hitting over 300, obviously. And has helped power the Saints to some wins and hoping to help power them to a playoff berth. Last year, they won their first ever Cascade Collegiate playoff game when they knocked off nationally ranked College of Idaho in the Cascade tournament. So,
similar this game with the implications as through the last couple years for Carroll. It comes down to the final series with Providence, and simply if you win, you're in, and that's the scenario today for Carroll.
The junior Kaylee Gall on the bump today for the Argos out of Utah. Obviously, we talk about playing in a football stadium. I know not always the same as softball, but definitely not a high mound. They're pitching straight off the field, basically.
It's also off of turf as well, which could make a serious difference. It's actually almost like a running mat that she's pitching off of.
You could probably see on your screen, but yeah, she is right there on that running mat. It's a good way to put it, Austin. But hopefully probably better footing on that, as you could imagine, than the rest of the turf field. I imagine it'd get pretty dug up if they just let them pitch off the turf.
Got to protect it for the football team, of course. Should be a 2-1 count. I think that was a late strike call there.
I think if we're loaded now. We're loaded now. Obviously, also we talk about football stadium. Our in-house scoreboard here is on the football field. So rather than balls and strikes, we see what yard line the ball is on and what down it is.
Full count just inside and a leadoff walk for Ibarra. That's big for the numbers we were talking about for Carroll as they want to get off to a hot start, score some runs, and that's what brings the success. And it starts with a walk for Ibarra.
Your cousin, right, Austin?
Yeah, that's a long story of a family tree, but we are technically related.
We're all technically related.
At some point or another, right? Katie Slater now up to the plate. Shows bunt, pulls it back.
We talked about Bill Cockhill, the stand-in coach here. His daughter, Anna, plays for Montana Grizzlies.
Solid year.
Yeah,
she has made so many highlight plays so far.
Yeah, we watched her win a state championship, both me and Austin, last year here in Helena, Montana. Obviously, Bill Cockhill, her dad, was the OC at the University of Montana. Their national championship back in the day, one of them, and also played for the Grizz. So a Grizz family, but obviously him and his wife Janice here in the Helena community. So he's standing coach. Good to see them helping out with the program.
Both strikes in this count thus far on the outside corner. Slater not liking those for the bunt. What does she do now?
And just like today, we have on Friday coming up a doubleheader for University of Montana softball. Also kind of senior weekend. It's senior weekend here for Carroll College and the Saints.
2-2 count. Nobody out, runner on first. That one's dribbled up the middle. Handled easily, but overthrown at first. Carroll's going to advance 2 runners. It'll be second and third with nobody out. And Kenna Thomas coming to the plate with a big-time opportunity early for the Fighting Saints to get on the board.
Yeah, obviously looked like it was going to be a fielder's choice from goal, the pitcher, but just obviously pitchers are made to throw it home and not to first base a whole lot often. Sails it past her first baseman, and yeah, now 2 runners in a dangerous place for was the Saints. You said Saints' best hitter. Great start for Carroll College.
Well, we talked about the footing of the pitchers, right? Well, that one was a little awkward. It almost like it hit the side corner of that running mat and made it, for some reason, a little bit difficult for the pitcher, and then she kind of rushed the throw.
They're going to have a little visit with her on the bump. I wouldn't say it's an official mound visit. I think the pitcher and the catcher just talking. Main behind the dish today for the Argos is just because we're going to see Gall hit. She's just a designated fielder today. She won't be hitting, so this is kind of her big focus.
For teams that don't play on a football field or a turf field like this, how much of an advantage do you think it is for a team like Carroll that's plenty used to this?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely helpful, and obviously they can practice in here. I know this was going to be a big thing, not only to help them out if they can play here, but you can practice more in the year. That's why over in Missoula, UM has a turf softball field just so you can practice outdoors and practice fielding more. It's really helped a lot of programs around here, so it definitely is a huge advantage. Obviously, Providence don't even have a football team, so they definitely don't have a turf football field they can practice on. But, yeah, it's certainly an advantage, and we'll see if Providence can kind of tweak that and get used to it.
What do you think, almost calming the nerves for goal here after just kind of a little bit of a rocky start, you would say?
Yeah, and that's kind of one of those tough swings there, as you see, like, it could be 1 down and a runner on second, but instead you get the air and now the no outs and 2 in scoring position as we get a look at Providence's coach, get an explanation. Joey Egan, the head coach in Providence, played her college days at MSU Billings, actually, was the female athlete of the year for the Yellow Jackets once upon a time before coming over to Providence.
So Kenna Thomas with a big-time opportunity. Runners in scoring position. Second and third, nobody out.
You just got another look at that play on your TV screen. It looked like definitely a bobble from goal to catcher.
First pitch, called a ball. Pitch
Thomas,
number 2 on the way.
Oh, Austin, yeah. The Saints were given a run there, and I think it's because that ball to first went out of play. So
yeah, 2 base error. Okay, that
just
makes
for the
sense.
folks at home, we are
So it is actually 1-0.
We're a ways away
Yes.
from the field up here. I'll say, like, it's like it's like we got the $10 tickets for an MLB game, which is great. I love doing that, and it's a beautiful view. And this is the best seat in the house for football games. But we can't hear what they're saying. Probably for the best at home, maybe with the microphone. Never know what a coach is gonna say. But that is gonna be a run that is scored by Ibarra because of the error, and the ball went out of play.
Yeah, we were both looking at each other like, what happened to the runner on third base? There's nobody there anymore. Well, it is going to be 1-0 Carroll. So there's actually a runner still in scoring position, only on second base. 2-1 count, still a big opportunity for Thomas. And the pitch. Should be fouled out of play.
Really cool of Carroll College to build those dugouts.
You could see that view right there if you saw the Nelson Stadium booth. We
Yeah.
are on the third story of that. So
yeah, or
if
pretty
you
high
can
up.
imagine, we are not like a behind home plate. We're pretty far out there.
If you
just
see
to
a
give you
home
a
run,
perspective.
look up. We'll be above it.
Big pitch here. 2-2 count. That one's going to be just high and outside.
Yeah, no hits yet for the Saints, but yeah, been a bit of a problem for goal, kind of finding the zone.
Well, I think that's the biggest reason why you call a mound visit is because it's not like they're hitting the ball extra hard. There's a ground ball on the left side. That's going to be foul. It's, a leadoff walk that had a couple of close pitches, and then you get a ground ball to first base that probably should have been an out. Instead, it turns into a three-base error, ends up scoring a run for Carroll. I think that's why you call that mound visit. But if she could somehow get Thomas out here without scoring a run, I think that would be a big win for Providence.
Payoff.
That one's popped up high, third base side. Easy play for the Argos. First out of the inning. Still a runner in scoring position. And that's a big timeout right there for goal.
Yeah, it looked like it maybe was going to go to center and could potentially bring in maybe be a sacrifice to move a runner to third, but instead, Enos is right there for that first out at the second base, or shortstop, my apologies.
Cleanup hitter up now, Morgan Sunchild. First pitch called a strike.
And as I was going to say a second ago, it's cool that they built the dugouts into the football stadium here.
That ball's laced into left field. That's going to be a base hit. Might score a run here for Carroll. Here comes the throw. It is late. Runner advances to second. A big-time hit for the Fighting Saints. It's 2-0 here in the first inning. And just like we talked about, they got to get the bats going early and often, and that's exactly what they do.
Yeah, great piece of hitting there by Sunchild for Carroll College's first hit of the game. Just patience and obviously, yeah, lines that one right out to left field, brings in the runner.
Brings up Sammy Labrum. First pitch outside, ball one.
And then the throw to home, trying to get Slater. Sunchild able to take the second bag too, so now just right back to another runner in scoring position for Labrum.
Thought Fuentes maybe could have cut that off. Here's a ground ball over Fuentes' head. That's going to reach it out to left field. Another base hit for the Fighting Saints. We got first and third with one out for Carroll.
Yeah, now Labrum making it back-to-back singles, the first baseman there. And Carroll College has really jumped on goal today, just right out of the gates.
So that's the first one that I will say the turf had an effect on, because that would be a normal ground ball to the third baseman. But because it's turf and how fast it comes off that bat, it actually launched the ball over the third baseman, which allows the runners to advance. As we got a bit of a drop ball here by the catcher. Runners advance. Now we got second and third with still only one out.
Yeah, as you're saying with the turf there, Austin, here at Valley Bank Field, Nelson Stadium, it goes quick from the outfield from the infield to the outfield. It's probably going to be a bit of a busier day as an outfielder, especially if you've got a ground ball pitcher on the bump.
That pitch just misses inside. 1-1 count, 2-0 Carroll. Opening inning here of this final home series for Carroll against Providence. That one's fouled down the left side. What an opportunity. You win this game, and you could possibly be in the postseason by the end of this afternoon if you win both matchups with 2 games remaining.
That's right. Or you can just maybe look over. I don't know what time that Warner Pacific game is, but if they lose theirs too against Bushnell.
I'm sure somebody's got that game live streaming when it starts. Here's one scooped up, popped up into the infield. Easy play for the second baseman. That'll be 2 down for Providence. Still runners on second and third.
Now the catcher, Libert's going to come up out of Las Vegas. 7-hole hitter up. Great inning to have at least seven batters come to the plate for Carroll College here in the first. Kind of a cool stack there with Sayers and Lippert both back-to-back. Obviously both players who play behind the plate for Carroll College. A lot of power.
Of course, family ties here at Carroll as well.
Yeah, obviously Taylor Sayers, who we saw up a second ago there, mom, basketball coach, perhaps one of the greatest basketball
Legendary
coaches of all time
coach,
in the
yes.
Frontier Conference, especially on the women's side.
1-1 pitch. That one's laced right at the shortstop there, and that will end the inning. But what a start for Carroll College. 2-0, Fighting Saints on top of the Argos. Welcome back to Nelson Stadium, Valley Bank Field on the campus of Carroll College. Final home series softball matchup for Carroll and Providence, a 4-game series that has playoff implications on the line. Great start for Carroll thus far. 2 runs off of 2 hits and an error. Providence comes back up to bat, try and give her a response. First up, swing and a miss. Great pitch right there from Kennedy Venner. A great start for her in the first inning. Nobody reached base for Providence.
And 1 swinging strike on the first batter she faced as well.
And she's attacking these hitters, keeping that ball in the zone, getting ahead of the count. It's going to be 0-2. On Fuentes, that's the third baseman there.
Plenty of action over at the third base line last inning for Fuentes, but a couple she couldn't get to. Just the speed of the field, as we said. I said in the last inning that we'll check the Warner Pacific score, but I was informed they don't play till Friday. So,
hey, it's okay.
If Carroll, you're in charge of your own destiny right now.
This one's blooped out to right field. First time we see the goalposts come into play.
I was gonna say on that error in the bottom of the first, the ball can, if a ball gets behind first base, it's pretty easily out of play. The fence is not far behind the first base, and there's not like a wall to bounce it back or a dugout to bounce it back there. So once it goes over that short fence, temporary fence, it kind of goes out of play quickly.
We almost got a double doink in softball. I don't think we ever have those very often. This one's fouled off again. Fuentes battling here against Venner. Austin Parr alongside Jack Marshall. Thanks so much for tuning in. You're watching college softball on SWX. Could not ask for a better day here on the campus of Carroll College.
Yeah, sun's out.
What a pitch by Venner.
Yeah, second
Bring
strike
in the
of day.
gas.
Yeah. When she's cruising, it's kind of hard to find any other pitchers like her in the conference.
Strikeout number 107 for Venner. Bringing the fastball on the outside corner. A little bit of movement there. And that's a big-time pitch for the Fighting Saints ace. Another one right attacking that strike zone. Might be taking a bit of an advantage of a mindset that Providence could have had to maybe be aggressive. You know, you got nothing to lose. They would love nothing more than to end Carroll's season. And Venner's taking advantage of that early. Back-to-back misses for Providence. And Venner, it's only the second inning, but she looks locked in.
And yeah, you said these teams are 5-5 against each other in their last 10, so play pretty hard against each other no matter what. Along with that, obviously you recruit a lot of Montana players.
Popped up behind the plate.
That could be a recruiting piece. You can be like, hey, some players are looking, do I want to go in-state, Montana, or Carroll, or Providence? Like, well, hey, we beat them in the season crossover this year, so some bragging rights regardless.
Fan had a chance to make a big-time play there. Fumbled the ball. Venner on 0-2. That one's popped to right field. It's going to be just foul, I believe. It's hard to see the end zone where the lines are.
Yeah.
Because the white, the purple, the yellow, the red, you got all different kinds. You got all the colors of the rainbow.
I think if you're Ellie Korber, you just catch it regardless if you can. Korber out there and right. She got her nursing degree this year.
Fun fact.
And that's I think she was one of the first Carroll softball players to ever do that. That sounds maybe not true, but I know it was a big deal for her when she got it. Maybe in the time she did it too. Obviously, it takes a lot, but.
Well, being a student athlete and also going through a program like nursing, not to discredit any of the other programs, but that's got to be tough. You got to put a lot of time and effort into your studies. 0-2 count, fourth pitch of the at-bat for Providence.
I guess maybe not.
Swing and a miss, strike three. That's another strikeout for Venner. She is just giving them the gas face. Heaters right down the center and basically says if you can hit it, good, but here's this. As we take a look at that replay again, right down the center for another put out for Venner.
I should know this, Austin, because my mom's a nurse. She probably just went through pre-med or something on her track to becoming a nurse, but maybe not officially an RN yet as a college senior or junior.
All three hitters so far this inning, Venner is attacking. First pitch strikes, throwing that fastball right down the middle.
Now pitcher on pitcher with Gull in the batter's box.
This is one of those scenarios where when I was facing a pitcher as a pitcher, it's you try to just throw a bunch of fastballs and dare him to hit it.
I
think that's what she's doing here.
Maybe buzz the tower a little bit.
No.
Okay, that's what I'd do.
3 straight pitches, 3 strikeouts. Struck out the side. Kennedy Venner is on fire. 2-0 Carroll over Providence. Food today for the SWX crew was provided locally by the Staggering Ox right down the street up on Euclid. Great sandwiches from the Staggering Ox, one of our big-time sponsorships. The Club Foots, Jack.
That's right. Sandwich. Pretty good.
Arguably the best sandwich place in the capital city. This one's launched to deep center, and it is gone. First pitch that we see in the bottom of the second inning. Olivia Rowe absolutely sends one out for Carroll, and it's 3-0. Excuse me, that's Carly Smith.
Yeah, Carly Smith, obviously a power hitter at the DH position for Carroll College. Liked what she saw, and that is deep center, Austin. Didn't pull that one at all. Just absolutely laced it. Downtown.
Deepest part of the ballpark right there, if you want to call it. We'll call it a ball field, since we're on a football field.
We'll call it the ball field.
That was absolutely nuked. So we take a look at that again. There's a reason why she's a designated hitter. She got a pitch that she liked and drove it. Thank goodness for her first base coach there. Almost might have caused an out. Could you imagine that? You hit a home run, then you get called out for missing first base?
We don't need Coach Cockhill getting thrown out of this one, too.
It's been all Carroll thus far. 3-0 Fighting Saints. Nobody out here in the bottom of the second inning. Exactly what you want if you're a Carroll College softball fan. You got to win 2 out of the next 4 or get some help. But the mindset has got to be get these 2 wins, and you are in the postseason.
Yeah, and obviously we saw Gall in the first inning give up 2 hits, left 2 on base, but also walked a runner and had that error. No official earned runs. Well, no official earned runs for her in that first inning because of an error on the scores book. I scored independently, but obviously that home run.
Unofficially. We'll call it unofficial.
Yeah, unofficial earned runs.
They did have a couple of base hits.
Yeah, I mean, I'm usually scoring things more as hits and not errors where I come from, and I'll call it an earned run. We know the official score, so we might need to get over a couple windows down and let him know, Austin.
Of course, coming up, we'll have a very special guest, Charlie Gross, in between innings.
That's exactly right.
There's one sent to center field, right to the center fielder. You love that as an outfielder. You got to move maybe 1 or 2 steps and just make the easy catch.
Yeah, goal obviously now up to 35 pitches, trying to make some quick innings, and obviously 1 swing and 1 home run doesn't make the inning any quicker, but ones like that do with the fly out to center.
Next time we come back here for these broadcasts, we are for sure going to purchase a pair of binoculars. That's a bouncing ball up the middle. That should be scored by the Jack Marshall system as a hit.
Ooh,
close play at second, and you saw the effects of the turf right there. The sliding, you come to a stop really quickly, and she almost didn't reach the bag.
Austin Parr, this score, is that a double in your book? Right?
It's debate. It's up for debate, as always, when you're officially scoring something by yourself.
Oh, great move, though, by Ibarra to slide in, bring the left hand up. Avoid the tag at second.
Another runner in scoring position for Carroll. 3-0. Bottom of the second inning. I was mentioning the binoculars before we had the bouncing ball because it's so hard to see the numbers.
Yeah.
You pair the purple and white jerseys with the white on the football field, and it's a tough combination.
I should have brought my bird watching binoculars here.
Jack is an avid bird watcher.
Yep.
In his spare time, if you didn't know that.
Yeah, you know, I'm an avid one, but I'm not a very good one. There's a lot of veterans in the state.
In there for a strike on the 3-0 count. It's going to be 3-1.
Slater up for the second time today. She reached base on that error and eventually came home to score a run in the first inning.
Didn't like that one. Just high. That'll draw a walk for Slater. As Carroll is in business again with their number 3 hitter. Here she comes to the plate. We talked so much about her in the pregame. Kenna Thomas, 384 batting average, 657 slugging percentage, 4 home runs on the season, 23 RBIs. As she takes the first pitch, might be a double play here. Overthrow at first base, but I believe the ball was foul. Yeah, foul ball. Let's re-rack it and do it all again.
Yeah, I think that's the right call there. It looked like that was hooking foul.
The ball has to go over the bag in fair play for the ball to be fair.
It was almost a savvy play by Fuentes. The throw wasn't quite on target, but almost a good play to eliminate the base
Thomas
runner.
Actually squares around to bunt with a runner in scoring position in the 3-hole. Maybe trying to catch the third baseman by surprise a little bit there.
Yeah, obviously Fuentes.
I mean, she's a power hitter.
Was a little farther back. Yeah, but yeah, that runner on second. That would just make Sunchild have to drive in a run. So.
0-2 pitch, right down the middle. Thomas takes it, and that's the first backwards K strikeout for goal in Providence.
Yeah, obviously a much needed strikeout for Thomas, or for goal, to get her first K of the day.
Actually had some inside movement, caught the inside corner. Thomas didn't like it, but it's a strikeout for Providence. And then she paints the outside corner on the very next pitch, maybe settling in here 2 innings in.
Yeah, I mean, that's pitcher's very rhythmic, and sometimes you'll have some tough things, but once you're cruising, you're cruising.
That ball's lined to left field, but right at the left fielder, and that's going to do it for the inning. The Carroll College Fighting Saints get a home run and add to their lead, 3-0 over Providence through 2 innings.
Testing 1, 2. It's a beautiful day outside.
Welcome back, everyone. Valley Bank Field, Carroll College on top of Providence, 3-0. And I'll tell you what, Carroll ace Kennedy Venner has been on fire. Struck out the side last inning, 108 strikeouts on the season. Before this game, she was 3rd in the Cascade Collegiate Conference as far as strikeouts as she goes back to work. And Jack, I'll let you introduce our very special guest, since you are Mr. Helena now, taking over for me a couple of years ago.
I don't know about Mr. Helena, but we're Charlie Gross, the AD here at Carroll College. And Charlie, a lot of big things coming up, a lot of big things going on right now, but it's good to see you this afternoon.
Well, thanks for having me on, Jack and Austin, and for broadcasting the game. It's a pleasure to have you here and show off how we can use Valley Bank Field at Nelson Stadium in a variety of ways.
1-1 count, of course, couldn't ask for a better day for softball. Carroll, you win and you're in. All you got to do is win 2 out of the 4, and you're automatically in. Obviously, they can get some help, but you just want to win these 2 today and not even worry about tomorrow.
Yeah, it's nice to control your own destiny, so let's keep it in our hands. And the way the conference works, it's always tough to play a team 4 straight games within 2 days, so you never know what's going to happen, who might not be able to go tomorrow, so take care of business today.
Kennedy Venner is absolutely peppering the strike zone here. 2-2 pitch on the way. That one is swung on and missed. Another strikeout for Venner, and she is clearly locked in, putting this team on her back and says, we're not losing this one, I'll tell you that much. But, Charlie, I wanted to ask you, there's obviously a big event going on tomorrow night. It's something that happens a lot for Carroll College, or a couple nights from now, the auction, obviously. But go ahead and talk about that for maybe people that don't know about it.
Yeah, so we have an organization called the Saints Athletic Association, and that is the fundraising arm for student-athlete scholarships. And it has been around a long time. It's been around so long that when it started, it was called the Century Club. To belong, you only needed to give $100.
Oh.
It didn't cost a whole lot to go to Carroll at that time. So, but it's transitioned to what we have now is called the Saints Athletic Association. And I would say it started in the late 60s, and it's been just a foundation, a cornerstone for Carroll College athletics. It takes a lot of dollars to fund student-athlete scholarships these days, and so the community of Helena is so supportive of Carroll. Our brand, our interest in Carroll athletics extends outside of the Helena area, so it gives people an opportunity to support our program.
0-2 pitch on the way. Swung on and missed. Another strikeout for Venner. That's 5 in a row for her. She is on top of it for Carroll. And I just wanted to say, this is my first look at the brand new turf field in person for me. But just everything that's going on here on the campus of Carroll College and the continued growth of athletics, just how proud of you are of everything that's going on and everything that continues to grow as far as Carroll athletics.
We kind of live by a mantra of we want to be better tomorrow than we were today, and that might be how we're competing on the field or on the court. But also we want to be able to continue to provide our student athletes, an enhanced experience. And this facility alone really touches a lot of student athletes at Carroll College. When you think of our 2 soccer programs, football, softball, and you know what, on an early spring day, you're going to see track out here even. And so it really is able to impact, about 40% of our student athletes.
Changes the dynamic as well. Ground ball to the shortstop. Throw on over to first, little bit high, gets away from the first baseman. That'll put a runner in scoring position with 2 down for Providence, as they could possibly get on the board when you thought maybe nobody was going to touch Venner. She gets the ground ball there, but that'll go down as an error.
Yeah, first base runner for Venner today. We'll see how she responds. But yeah, good kind of sunshine going to her left and having to throw back right. We've seen a couple wayward throws kind of from that area of the field to first base today, Austin.
And I'll probably keep hammering it home. When you play baseball or softball on turf, you don't always know how that ball is going to react. It's a little bit slicker. The ball kind of slides instead of actually bouncing like a true bounce on dirt. So you don't necessarily charge it, and you might have to rush throws, and that kind of seemed like that was the situation right there. It's just different. Simply put, it's different to play on turf.
And that reminds me, Charlie, obviously we can bring this into the bottom of the inning.
Runner goes, throw down to third. That's a beautiful slide right there for Providence.
But what kind of made you guys want to bring in, full-time dugouts into the football field? I know at first it seemed like maybe just play some early season games and go over Centennial, but just how has that progressed to have kind of the full season here in Nelson?
Well, what was remarkable, we were able to play softball in Montana on February 28th. Now, granted, it was a beautiful day.
Right, it
but,
had to be.
Had we been on a natural surface, it would have never happened because there was too much snow and too much water. So we knew that in years past we had just struggled with trying to get early season games in. And not only early season games, but practice. We would play games in February, and the first time we took a real pop fly was in a game. And so what this was really intended to, from kind of the origin, was to give us early season practices and early season game opportunities.
Kennedy Venner gets out of the jam, line to third base. Carroll College still on top, 3-0 over the Providence Argos as we go to the bottom of the third. SWX is going to Butte, America, for the 41st Bob Cleverly 8-man football all-star game. The action starts at 7 p.m. Saturday, May 31st. Of course, brought to you on your Montana sports leader, SWX. If you haven't gone, you should. That is an event you should definitely check out, especially if you're a football fan. Welcome back, everybody, inside of Valley Bank Field. 3-0 Carroll College on top of the Providence Argos. And we have a new pitcher for Providence. It is number 5, Madison White for the Argos. Freshman, one of their top pitchers on the season. 34 strikeouts, a 3-4 record, 7.89 ERA. A bit high, but she's been solid for Providence.
Back with Charlie Gross here, and Charlie, Carroll College athletic director. We talked a little about the auction, but tell us more about Friday night and just what maybe some people can expect to buy and how they can come help support Carroll College with the auction you guys do.
Well, what's exciting about the auction, it's the 42nd. I mean, that's quite a tradition.
A lot.
It's really built up into one of the larger fundraising activities in the community of Helena. I would say it's the 42nd annual, but we had to take a year off.
That one's laced into left field. Leadoff hitter aboard for Carroll College as they are leading Providence 3-0.
So the auction is, ever since COVID, when we had to take the year off and then we were able to do it, we do a hybrid of, it's a live auction, so we have 30 high-end things that we like to make available to people who are there.
Providence gets the put out there, but Carroll advances the runner to second. Runner in scoring position with 1 out for Carroll College.
Then we have over 200 items that people can bid on virtually. And what's exciting about that is that we have people that buy things from the New England states all the way to California, and they figure out how to pick them up or how we can ship them. And that's why you have a breakaway fence right there.
I was going to say, one of the benefits of having a breakaway fence is, the mindset of the players kind of changes. You can lay out in that thing, it's not going to hurt you.
Yeah, it was very interesting when we were trying to put all the pieces together for the field, and fencing was difficult to really come up with some system that we were comfortable with. I don't necessarily like how flimsy it is, but in that case, it sure does. It makes it for a safe environment.
I'm sure that the idea can always progress. You can look at different options or different fencing options, but I think it looks great. I think it's pretty cool to have a softball game on a football field, especially a brand new football field in that. And just to have the dugouts built in as well. It's just a great look, as that's a base hit in left field for Carroll. Runner goes to third, holds up there. And the Fighting Saints are in business again. First and third, 1 out.
That's Libert with her first hit of the ball game, the catcher behind the plate. And must be a fun gig for her today, obviously catching Kenny Venner's 5Ks. But
Yes.
Charlie, we're talking about obviously Cascade Conference, Carroll College trying to, get into the conference tournament as throwback to third's going to get away.
That one gets away from it. The runner's going to score right there for Carroll. A tough throw from behind the plate, trying to throw back the runner at third base. And Carroll adds another one. 4-0 Fighting Saints. And I was going to say about the new pitcher, Madison White, you might not want to throw a fastball to this one, who just put one out in center field a couple innings ago.
Yep, Carly Smith. But Charlie, as I was saying, obviously they're trying to get into the Cascade tournament, but it's going to be a little different next year with the new Frontier Conference. Just how do you think that'll affect, these two teams both be playing in Frontier softball, but just how do you think that's going to affect this softball going forward here at Carroll?
Well, we really value being in the Cascade Conference from a softball perspective. It is by far the best conference at the NAI level when you have the top teams in the country playing in our league. National champions come out of our league. If you're going to be able to be a contender in our league, you can win a national championship. So it's helped us build the program. We still feel we're a young program, and we're growing. We're growing in our facilities. We're growing in the experiences we can provide our student athletes. But we feel we've progressed pretty well in our ability to compete in the Cascade. Shauna Juarez has done a great job getting us there and being in competition to be in the league or in the tournament. And so with that, we're looking for forward to the transition to be in the new Frontier Conference.
That strikeout will end the inning. That is Athletic Director Charlie Gross. Thanks so much for taking the time. Really appreciate it. Carroll College on top of Providence 4-0 at the end of 3. Four to nothing is your score on the campus of Carroll College. The Fighting Saints lead the Argos as we head into the top of the 4th inning. And Venner is pitching a shutout thus far. I won't say the other part of what she's doing because you don't mention things like that if you're a baseball player or a softball player. No official hits for Providence thus far.
The other night I did that, and guess what happened in the next at-bat?
Of course. It always happens like that. The old announcer jinx when we do the Montana State basketball games with Chris Byers.
Oh, man.
Every time we talk about a free throw percentage or how good they are, they miss the free throw.
Yeah, I do that a lot. Austin.
I'm just saying, the fact is this one's sent into center field. Well, I was just seeing if it was right center, left center.
Okay, my apologies.
They were drifting. We're up on the 3rd story here. The depth of perception is not always great when you're super high. Watching a broadcast of a softball game backwards, but that's okay.
Venner now through 3 1/3, 6 strikeouts. Obviously, no walks, along with none of the H words.
Smart play there as she just continues to attack that strike zone. Peppers the outside corner there, and it's 0-1.
Obviously struck out more batters than have even flew out or lined out.
Great pitch there, right down the middle at the knees for strike 2.
Weber, the shortstop for the Argos at the bag, did pop out to 3rd in the 1st inning.
Is that a Jack Marshall official score?
Yeah, I'm an official score.
And that's going to be the first hit of the ball game for Providence. That's going to be a triple as it gets past the right fielder. Hands up in the air because the ball went under the makeshift fence.
Yeah, that was a tough play to make for Corber, and I think right as it hit the turf, Austin, you mentioned how fast they're going, and they're going to keep her. That actually saves Carroll because that easily would have been a triple, maybe an inside the park, but because it goes out, they're just going to say it's a ground rule double.
And you are absolutely correct. A tough play for Ellie Corber. It looked like she wanted to go after it in the beginning and then kind of hesitated, and that's why that ball skipped by her and got underneath the temporary fence as that pitch is fouled off. But Providence in business for the first time. The Fighting Saints actually got a break there because if that ball does not get stuck under the temporary fence, that was a stand-up triple for her.
Yeah, at least, like I said, it could have been in the park as well, so that's good. And now Fuentes.
Any inside the park home runs for you in your career?
Have I ever seen one?
No, have you ever had one yourself?
No. My folks watched me, they get sent to the left or right field, whichever one's the your bad one, right field, when I was playing t-ball, and they didn't want to go to any more games, so they pulled me out.
This sounds like a very sad story. We're going to change the subject
it wasn't
here.
sad.
1-2 count for Venner, runner on second.
They couldn't. Yeah.
And that is strike 3. Another strikeout for Venner. She gave up the first hit of the game. Of course, we're going to take fault for that because I did say that Providence hadn't recorded a hit yet. So,
yeah, that's our fault. But it's not
number 112 on the season for Kennedy Venner.
My parents were just kind of bored by softball and baseball, which is weird because it's probably my favorite sport, those two now. One of them, obviously football and basketball, always going to take precedent. But through working for SWX, actually,
sounds like we're going to go through your whole life story.
Yeah, we are. I became a huge baseball and softball fan. So,
baseball also continues to grow in the state of Montana. While we're on the subject, a lot of high schools now making baseball official. And of course, we brought to you the first high school level baseball game in broadcast history live on SWX, because who else would bring it to you? It is obviously us.
Sentinel Spartans lost the Big Sky Eagles over in Missoula in the Paddleheads ballpark. It was a great event there last Saturday. Yeah, it's cool to see it grow. Obviously, I do wonder if it had been around when I was playing, if I would maybe then would have tried out for the team. They don't have a
runner on second, 1-2
Class C
count.
schools yet, Austin. We got to get on that.
Ground ball to the third baseman, should get out of the inning here, and it does, as Carroll continues to dominate. Venner continues to strike out the Argo hitters. 4-0 Fighting Saints over the Argos. College softball coverage on SWX is brought to you in part by Carroll College. Carroll College, the power of personal. Valley Bank Field, 4-0. Carroll College has dominated the Argos thus far. Just one hit for Providence came in the last inning, and Carroll has put pressure on them with base runners in every inning thus far. First pitch strike for Madison White as she tries to keep that lead at 4.
Tell you what, Austin, I don't need to go to the sauna tonight anymore.
We
Kind
are
of like
getting
the
cooked up here.
sweating like the first hog in line at the pork house, you know.
Careful, I don't know where you're
Sausage
going
factory.
with that
You know,
one.
you're in danger at that point. Pigs don't actually sweat, but yeah. Chop house.
Must be a Capital City restaurant, as that one's lined into left foul territory. I almost said left field. That's obviously not left field. I like the lefty hitters because I like to see the slap hits because they can get on base so quickly. That's just something you don't have in baseball. At least you don't see it as often. I mean, the best left-handed hitter is Shohei Ohtani, and he's a power hitter.
So we made it a good amount of innings before we brought up the Los Angeles Dodgers. So I'd say we did a good job.
4-0 Carroll on top. Outside pitch fouled off. That's going to be a 1-2 count for White.
Once again, doubleheader here today.
You win 2 games, you are in the postseason if you are Carroll College. Providence, you win 3 out of 4, you send Carroll home. And the pitch. Popped up. Foul territory. Out of play. Count remains 1-2. Top of the lineup for Carroll College, Liz Ibarra getting things started for the Fighting Saints. Of course, in that first inning, she had a walk that led to a run for Carroll. She continues to battle here, fouls that one off out of the strike zone. Playing left field for the Fighting Saints. The way you mentioned earlier, the way we are related, my Uncle Jay is married to Vanessa Parra.
Oh.
And Vanessa's niece, which is not technically my blood aunt, but just she's married to my blood uncle. Vanessa's niece is Liz.
Okay,
when I first came to
draw
Helena,
it out for me a little bit.
I'll draw a map for you.
Okay.
Yes, 23andMe brought to you by.
And her older brother played football here, right?
That is a big-time base hit right there for Liz Ibarra. Laces one into left field.
She's
of course, her brother is Austin Ibarra, played football at Capitol High School. He's the first one that introduced me to head coach Mihelish when I arrived in Helena, beginning my broadcasting career, sports reporting career, mix of everything out here.
Ibarra has reached base 3 times today. A walk, a double, and now that single, and now she's going for second.
Easily steals second. You can't teach speed. Well, I guess you kind of can. The reason why I said that is because when I was in high school, my mom had me take a bunch of classes as a tight end. They tried to teach me speed, and I just couldn't. I was never fast.
Yeah.
Some people are just born with speed, and I feel like that's just what you get.
Yeah.
You're born with size. You're born with speed. You know, not many athletes get a combination of strength, speed,
Some
size.
of us didn't get either, you know? Yeah, some of us didn't get either.
1-0 pitch is swung on and missed. Excuse me, 2-0 pitch. It's now 2-1. Got to pay attention to the scoreboard here. 4th inning is the 4th quarter. The ball is on the second ball. Down is a strike. So we got a 2-1 count. No yards to go, which is outs. Nobody out.
Nobody out.
Of course, Carroll will update the scoreboard as we were talking about earlier. Something to kind of help out the other sports besides the football team. Just a beautiful atmosphere here at Carroll. So many things have changed as that one's popped up on the left side of the infield. Easily caught by the shortstop. Runner can advance. 1 down.
And now Thomas going to come up to bat. Obviously the big bat.
Somebody we haven't mentioned today.
Yeah, she's big bat in the lineup, but obviously 0 for 2 today with a strikeout.
And sometimes that's by design. You're going to pitch away from her because she is the best hitter in the lineup. You're not going to serve her up a meatball right down the middle and dare her to hit it because she might hit it into the opposite end zone.
Kelly Gall obviously only made it through 2 innings before White came to replace her today. A bit of a tough outing. Austin giving up 4 hits. Saints scored 3 runs. They only gave her 1 earned run on that solo bomb, but also walked 2. Where they brought White up. Gall better ERA than White on the season, but maybe on a bit of a pitch count. Got to play 4 games here in Nelson Stadium this weekend.
And also, it seemed it started in that first inning when she had the leadoff walk, and then the error is kind of what rattled her a little bit, and that's when the wheels fell off the bus a little bit. But, I mean, only being charged with 1 earned run.
Not by my scorebook. Just going to say that. I gave her 2. But,
Madison White, of course, is a freshman, mind you.
Yep.
So that ball's laced into left field. That's in the gap. It's going to score at least 1. On her way to second with a stand-up double. First time we've mentioned her name today. Kenna Thomas gets on the board with an RBI double.
And
5-0 Carroll College.
Ibarra, the leadoff batter of the inning for Carroll College with her second scored run of the day.
She's having herself a day.
Yeah, obviously she'd like to see top of the lineup being the bats Carroll knows they are.
It's a great job by our team right there to get that replay, which brings up this point I want to make. The reason why you could miss bases is because they're hard to see.
Yeah, earlier before the game, we were kind of trying to figure out, and we found second base pretty easy, third base eventually. Austin basically had to guide my hand to point at first base.
Well, especially this far away, too. I mean,
Yeah.
first base has got to be the toughest one. It's in the middle of, or no, it's in the top right half of the end zone, in the middle of a purple and white square with a red line drawn attached to it. It is so hard to see.
It's almost like a big square, the base, like because the checkerboarded end zones for Carroll College.
First pitch fouled back. 2 down.
Labrum now
5-0 Carroll.
Labrum now on the up batting, 2 singles for her today, and last inning she came around and scored a run. That was the first run that went against White.
See if White can get out of the jam here. That was probably the slowest pitch we've seen on the afternoon. Might have clocked in around 32 miles an hour, the ultimate changeup there.
Yeah, changeup, but fell a little short of the plate.
Next pitch is going to be fouled off out of play. 1-2 count, 2 down. 1 run in the inning for Carroll. Runner in scoring position. See if White can get out of the mini jam.
26 pitches now for White.
Fouled off again, almost the same exact pitch. Doing a great job battling up there as Labrum. Not laboring at all.
Oh, I like that. There you go.
Cascade Collegiate College Softball, brought to you live, of course, on SWX. And the pitch. This one's sent out to left field. Going back is the left fielder, not going to get it. It bounces over the temporary fence, and that is a ground rule double, which will score another run for Carroll College. That ball was driven out to left center. 6-0 Fighting Saints over the Argos.
Yeah, Labrum, the first base player out of Kalispell, Montana, brings in Kenna Thomas, who had the double earlier in the inning. It's not quite back-to-back doubles, but it's a pretty efficient way to score runs if you're the Saints. Just keep doubling.
Just took that change up, put her weight back, and drove it out to left center. 1 hop over the temporary fence. Tough read.
Yeah, almost a play on it over there in left field for Wilting, but just a little too far. Another well-hit ball for Carroll College. We've seen a couple of those today, Austin, including that home run from Carly Smith. Is Taylor Sayers going to step in for the Saints?
Well, we talked about it early in the open. In their 10 conference wins on the season, they average 9 runs per game, and they only average under 2 runs in those conference losses. So simply, if you want to win, you got to score runs. And we said 4 to 6 about what Carroll would need today. Well, they're already at the 6 mark, and we're only in the 4th inning.
We do have a pinch hitter for the Saints. It's going to be Bryn Notbaum, the outfielder who's going to replace Taylor Sayers.
Freshman from Miles City.
Oh.
Runner in scoring position, 2 down. And she drives the first pitch into left field, but it's going to be caught. Looks like she just missed it off the end of the bat, and that will do it for Carroll in the 4th. 6-0 Fighting Saints over the Argos. Hey, stay with us because our gift to you, the second half of a doubleheader for everybody. Beautiful day for softball coming up right here on SWX. Austin Parr alongside Jack Marshall. Carroll versus Providence. And, of course, if Carroll goes on to win this game, they will only have to win one more of the next three to punch their ticket into the postseason. Probably the most overused phrase in sports is punch your ticket, but sometimes you just got to use it.
Yeah, sometimes you got to use it. Obviously, you're going to have to probably get some. I don't know where they're holding the tournament. Probably somewhere in Washington, so get your bus tickets ready to go. Batting now for the Argos is Madison White, who also pitching, but came in relief for Kaylee Gull because the pitcher isn't a DH. She's got to pitch and hit now, and even in relief. So
we talked about the binoculars, and, you know, we have the greatest crew ever. They come out and they just bring us a pair of binoculars. Next thing we're going to throw out, we need a radar gun because I would love to see how fast.
We're not going to get them from up here, I'll tell you that much.
Kennedy Venner is throwing the gas face at these Providence Argos. She has just been peppering that strike zone, and she throws the ball very hard. 7
strikeouts after 4 as we're into 5 now. Not bomb. Now at third base for the Saints, replacing Taylor Sayers.
Very interesting windup from Venner, too. If you really take a look at it, almost has her knee on the ground before she gets the signal from the catcher and delivers the pitch.
I talked about Sayers subbing out. Also, a catcher should probably catch the second game of this doubleheader. That's my prediction, Austin.
2-2 pitch. Fouled off on the right side. Pretty late, but did a good job at battling there is White. Two-two count for Venner. And the pitch fouled off by White again.
Our producer Dave has informed us I can get a radar gun app on my phone, so bear with me, folks, because we're see if we can get a radar from 400 yards away.
Well, I don't think it's really fair. It's the top of the 5th. She's thrown a lot of pitches already. I wanted it in like the 2nd and 3rd inning when she struck out the side and she was just throwing heaters.
I'd be pretty shocked if I get an accurate read.
2-2 pitch.
Anyway.
Swung on and miss. Another strikeout for Kennedy Venner. That is number 8 on the afternoon. Giving the Argos the gas face.
Olivia Rowe up at DH. Also struck out in her first time up, so, you know. Venner's sister played college softball as well.
First pitch popped up just outside the outfield. Miscommunication there for Carroll. Nobody's covering second. That should go down as an error, not which one you're going to pick, the second baseman or the center fielder, but I'm going to go with the center fielder because she is the one that called that ball, I believe. Unless I'm wrong, we might see it on the replay. Second baseman might have called it early, which would be Enos.
Slater and Thomas both going after that one.
Thomas, yes, you're correct.
And now we have a pinch runner for the Argos. That's going to be Colby Wood, pinch running. She's going to pinch run for Olivia Rowe, the DH. So not sure if you get that courtesy runner for a DH in college softball.
Jaden Ruiz now steps up to the plate. Venner just misses upstairs. 1-0 count, runner on first. See how Venner responds to one of the very few runners that Providence has had on base. And she throws a heater upstairs, almost a rise ball to get a 1-1 count. Hear those softball chants in the background. Softball chants are forever undefeated.
Yeah, they get pretty loud.
This one's popped up on the left side. Great play made there by Sunchild.
Yeah, great speed there by Sunchild, the shortstop, to get back to that ball and get the second out of the inning. As a pitcher, Venner, you love to see your hustle from your infielders.
Two down, runner on first. Carroll leads 6-0, top of the 5th inning. Austin Parr alongside Jack Marshall. You're watching college softball on SWX. That ball was ripped down the third baseline. Oh, 0-1 count. It was almost like a curveball coming in the inside part, and she turned on it. Strike called on the outside corner for Venner.
Yeah, I don't have any idea how far it is from the mound of the home plate in college softball.
60 feet, I believe. Maybe 30 feet?
43.
0-2 pitch is fouled away. 40 feet. I went straight to baseball. That's
Okay.
60. Sorry, that's my bad.
I got my Raider gun, but unfortunately,
We're
ready to go.
You know, let's call center field, 320. If it is, it's probably like 220. We're only 210. See, there you go. Venner in the pitch. Swung on and missed. She gets out of the inning. 6-0. Carroll. Venner continues to mow down the Argos hitters live on SWX. College softball coverage on SWX is brought to you in part by the University of Providence, connecting people, communities, opportunities, and ideas through an inspired and mission-driven education. Thank you, University of Providence. Carroll College coming back up to the plate here in the bottom of the 5th inning. 6-0 Fighting Saints. They've been all over Providence since the first pitch, as that pitch is going to be just outside. 1-0 on the count. Did you get a miles per hour on that one?
54.
Okay, so you got to translate that 54 from 43 feet, because we found out the official measurement.
Yeah, no, it's 43 feet. I got that figured out. Problem is, I got it. You're supposed to time it from when releases their hand to the base.
Right.
Hard for me to tell when it crosses the base to mark an angle.
In for a strike there. Count evens up at 1-1.
If I would guess, right now, White's sitting in the mid-50s.
I want to know what that changeup is. That thing is super slow. That ball is lined over the first baseman's head, but she makes a great play on it. 3 pitches, 1 out for Providence.
Now Carly Smith stepping up to the plate. Obviously had that home run in the 2nd inning. Solo bomb, center. White did strike out, though, Smith, in their one matchup so far today.
The thing with softball, Jack, is 43 feet. If somebody's throwing about like 60 to 70 miles an hour, that's equivalent to about 95, 100 miles an hour in the MLB because of the distance from the pitching mound to the batter's plate. There's that changeup. It's lined up the middle to the shortstop. Makes a great play. Throw and catch. 2 down Providence, one of the more successful innings they've had thus far.
Yeah, a good little 6-3 for the Argos from Weber to Cullen.
It's great experience for the freshman Madison White. Being able to pitch against the team that's fighting for a playoff position in the Fighting Saints, as that pitch is fouled off. Count starts off at 0-1.
If you're her, what you want to do is get the out here on Corber and not let the lineup flip and let Ibarra bat again.
Especially Ibarra, who is 3 for 3 on the afternoon, technically 2 for 2 with a walk.
That was a little faster, more of the fastball there from White. That one's going to be around in the 60-mile-per-hour range, and that one's going to feel, as you said, more like 90 from a major leaguer in baseball.
Fast. Ooh, and then she hits her with a changeup. In on the hands, fouled off.
This is all by my unofficial radar, though, by the way, folks. So
from about 600 feet away.
Well, okay. I have my binoculars.
1-2 count, 2 outs. 6-0 Carroll. That one gets away from the catcher all the way to the backstop.
And you see there, that's a little more of the change-up that she wants to, White kind of wants to slow down and drop out under the zone and get a batter to swing at.
I'll give you a fun tip here. I was a catcher all my life, and the umpire used to hate those when nobody's on base because the catchers don't want to block the ball when there's nobody on base. Right. You just kind of like, if you scoop it, you scoop it, and if you don't, it hits the umpire. And the umpires used to hate that. They would always tell me, oh, you didn't want to block that one, did you? And I'm like, no, not with no runners on and 2 outs. I'm not blocking that. Pitch is dribbled down to the third base line. Throw and catch, easy play made. Providence out of the inning, 1-2-3, but Carroll is still on top, 6-0 as we head to the top of the 6th inning. What a beautiful day for softball here at Nelson Stadium, Valley Bank Field. You just saw us in the broadcast booth up on the 3rd story there. 6-0. Carroll is on top of the Providence Argos as Kennedy Venner continues to go to work for the Fighting Saints. 8 strikeouts on the afternoon. 9 strikeouts on the afternoon. We're blaming Jack for that one, unofficially getting it wrong.
Where did I get that wrong? I got 9 here.
I'm just giving you a hard time. I'm just giving you a hard time. We gotta get the radar out for her, though.
Yeah, she racks up so many that you lose count pretty quickly if you blink, you know?
0-1 pitch.
That's
high and
fast.
inside. Don't want to see that, especially a fastball coming right at you from 43 feet.
It's too fast for my radar, Austin. I don't have reflexes good enough to pick it up.
Fueling the fire here. Bringing the gas. Inside again. 97
yeah,
miles
we're working through some things on the radar. That could have been 97.
We're working out the kinks here.
We're working through some things on the radar.
2-1 pitch from Venner. Just low for ball 3. 3-1 count. This is one of the counts, the higher counts that Venner has faced all game. She's been solid for Carroll. Let's see how she battles back.
It's a good way to do it.
Gets away with one there. Kind of a rise ball upstairs, swing and a miss. And we've got a full count. Don't forget, Carroll scores 2 runs in the bottom of the 6th inning. That is the ball game.
Venner's pitching a little too fast for me to be able to get an accurate reading on my radar. I don't have like the good enough speed to change on and off of it.
So what you're saying is she throws it hard.
Yeah, it probably feels like a batter you're facing like a baseball player would in the 90s, I'll bet, for Kenner. Obviously, yeah, 9 Ks to 5.
3-2 pitch. Laced into left field. If it stays fair, it might be extra bases, but it is just foul.
Yeah, that was close down the line, but I think if I'm looking at the correct line, there's
a lot of lines over there.
To choose from over there. That was a foul ball.
I think it was inside of the coach's box, but out of bounds for soft soccer.
Okay. No, that's inbounds for soccer. The yellow line.
Another 3-2 on the way. Fouled off again.
You do bring up a good point. They do play soccer here at Carroll College on this field, which is, I know, helped their program out a lot, like Charlie Gross was saying. And the men's team won the conference, Cascade Conference, this last year. First time ever.
Shout out to the Carroll College men. Another 3-2 pitch upcoming. Laced right up the middle. Too hot to handle for the second baseman, and the Argos get a lead-off single.
Yeah, pretty good piece of hitting there for the Argos.
Cassidy Yemen.
The lineup did flip to start this inning. That's a base hit in my eyes.
That ball's laced, yeah. That is not in there.
Okay.
That's base hit.
Just checking.
Yep. 1 on, nobody out. This one's driven into right field. Off the top of the fence. The runner did not read it very well. What a great play by the right fielder there to get that ball in quickly and holds her to a single.
Yeah, that was about as far as you can hit a ball from Tennyson Enos in order for it to still be a single. Nonetheless, runners at the corners. Providence threatening Thomas for the first, or Venner for the first time, so they're going to have a meeting with her on the bump. But Austin,
clearly Yeoman right there. I don't think she got a good read on the ball. She thought that the play was going to be made. I think she thought it was going to be caught, so she was going to tag up. That's why she was still on first base.
Yeah, that's fair.
By the time she got there.
Yeah, I get that, and I guess the runner had to slow down.
Like you said, though, this is the first inning that Kennedy Venner has really had a couple of hard-hit balls hit against her. She had the one early on. That was the first hit of the game, but these are the
second
latest
and third hits of the game, yeah. So she's done a really good job limiting base runners overall. But now Coach Cockill, as we said, Coach Juarez, still suspended for this game by league rules after getting tossed against the University of British Columbia. Coach Cockill going to talk with the team.
What do you think he's saying to Venner here? Maybe the defense as well.
Throw some strikes, probably.
Oh, that's it? Just throw strikes?
Yeah.
Because I think she did that, and then they were hit pretty hard.
Okay.
I think the conversation, if I give you a little baseball experience.
All right.
You got runners on first and third. There's nobody out. You're setting your defense for a possible play if the runner tries to take second on a steal. You want to almost fake the throw to second, maybe throw it to short.
Don't let them double steal.
Kind of bait the third base runner, try to get her out, get her caught in a bad situation. And then maybe just give time for Venner to reset since this is the first inning where she's had multiple base runners on board. And there's a great throwback right there.
I thought they got her.
Safe on the play is the call.
Yeah,
From 655 feet away, we both thought she was out there.
Yeah, great. That's definitely what they talked about. You know, Providence was going to show bunt, and obviously
here's the replay right here.
Weber did. They brought in the third baseman,
Venner is
And,
just losing
yeah.
her mind on the mound. There's no possible way that
Sunchild
she could have been safe.
snuck over from shortstop to almost get the out there. Obviously, the runner on third, Yemen, as you said.
This one's flied out to center pretty deep. Should score the first run of the game for the Argos. And that'll do it. Sacrifice fly gets Providence on the board. 6-1, the first run given up for Venner.
Yeah, just good piece of hitting from the Argos this inning, obviously. 2 singles and then a sacrifice fly.
See how she responds with the runners remaining in scoring position.
Obviously some, pitch going to get away, and Enos going to go to third.
Those are the most frustrating ones as a pitcher.
How did
You hit
Enos
your
get on?
catcher in the glove, and it gets dropped by.
Sorry to interrupt you on this, but did Enos steal on that? I'm trying to figure out how she got on second there.
During the throw to third base, that's why they threw it
Okay.
to third. So that was the defensive
Okay.
play I was talking about that they set up in that little huddle.
So Enos did get the third on that.
Yeah.
Didn't try to go, or it's the second. Didn't try to go to third on the throw from Slate,
No,
but then did get there after the
off the
pitch.
pass ball.
Yep.
Upstairs for ball 2 for Venner. Runner on third, 1 out.
Fuentes,
6-1 Carroll.
third base player for the Argos, 2 strikeouts today, so Venner's had her number. Righty.
Next pitch on the outside corner for a strike. Evens the count up at 2-2.
Venner with 88 pitches, so something to keep an eye on here in the 6th inning. Bring the closer in.
That ball is low for ball 3. Should have a full count here. 3-2 count. 1 on, 1 out. Here's the pitch. That one's lifted out to the outfield, which should score another run for Providence. Here comes the throw to the plate. It's going to be cut off. 6-2. The Argos have had their most successful inning of the ball game.
Yeah, good job by them, Austin, to, obviously get a couple on base, but do the things that it takes to get runners on third, and then team baseball or softball to
You say team ball.
Yeah, hit team ball to hit those sacrifice flies.
First pitch swung on and missed. As the Fighting Saints lead the Argos 6-2, top of the 6th inning.
Yeah.
Providence running out of time here.
If you're Venner, you're just creeping towards 100 pitches, just want to sit this last batter down and get out of the inning for Vern Cullen.
That's what she's doing. Firing BBs into that strike zone. It's going to be an 0-2 count. Chance to get out of this for Venner.
We said Venner came in with a 4 ERA to this game.
0-2 pitch is swung on and missed, and that's another strikeout for Kennedy Venner. But the Providence Argos get themselves on the board with 2 runs, and it's the Fighting Saints 6-2 over the Argos. watching college softball live on SWX. Austin Parr alongside Jack Marshall. 6-2, Carroll leads Providence. Final series of the year. Carroll wins 2 out of the 3 conference games. They will punch their ticket to the playoffs as the Fighting Saints get back to the top of the lineup in Liz Ibarra. 2 for 2 with a walk on the afternoon, single and a double.
Yeah, that's a triple away from a country cycle.
Country cycle. Okay, we'll call it a Montana cycle? Is that what we're talking about?
Okay, I don't know. The Marshall cycle. Yeah, that's what I call it.
That one misses just low. Should bring the count to 2-0.
Say it's a beautiful afternoon here at Carroll College. We got some kids suntanning, playing spike ball out in the grass beyond the field from our view.
That one is going to be rolled up the middle for another base hit. Liz Ibarra, have yourself a day.
Yeah, 3 hits on the day for Ibarra. Probably because she's got that, I was going to say Parr blood in her, but she's part
We
of a
are
good
athletes,
family. Yeah,
you know.
a lot of athletes.
A lot
in
of
the family,
athletes in the
so.
family. Not my brother, of course. He's not listening, so that's okay.
Other than
He got the
him.
music genes. but-
Okay, that'll happen.
Nobody on, 1 runner on. Ibarra, first pitch, just like last time, steals second base with ease. There's that speed showing off for Ibarra, and immediately Carroll has a runner in scoring position here in the bottom of the 6th. It is 8 runs after the 5th inning as far as a mercy rule is concerned. That pitch just misses upstairs, brings it to 2-0.
Yeah, Providence getting those 2 runs in the top of the inning definitely helped them avoid any potential mercy rules. But
Well, top of the lineup
Yeah,
with Carroll has
but
been on
I
fire,
was
so you
gonna
never
say,
know what
yeah.
can happen. That one's laced into right field. It's over the right fielder's head, and it will score another run for Carroll. Double, possible triple here. And it ends up in a stand-up triple for Katie Slater. Just as we were talking about how dangerous the top of the lineup is for these Fighting Saints. Base hit up the middle from Ibarra, and a stand-up triple for Slater scores another run for Carroll, and it is 7-2 Fighting Saints.
yeah, you saw it there. That one was just lined right over the right fielder's head. Impossible to make a play on it. If you're Ruiz for the Argos, Slater with the wheels.
Showing off the speed there for sure. That was a dangerous little scoop there by the catcher Liebert for the Argos. With a runner on third base, you got to think you got to lay out for everything. Try to body up. She scooped it, got away with that one. But this is a hitter's count to the best hitter on the Fighting Saints roster, 2-0. That one's low but called a strike.
Thomas, third out, 0 for 2, but then doubled and then would come around to score on a double from Labrum in her last at-bat.
Punched one out to left center off the fence. There's one lifted to left again, but that one's just foul.
That one's out of bounds on the soccer field too, so.
Soccer, football, softball,
Yeah,
all out of bounds.
three lines, yep. And there's 2 lines of the bench zone for football. Must be the starters in red shirts.
Big opportunity here for Carroll College. I apologize, that one went right over my head.
Probably is a little bit some more coaches in the deeper purple end zone as you see. Only purple downward.
Oh, yeah. Kenna Thomas with a 2-2 count. Line one's off the third baseman. Runner's going from third. She will be safe at first. Another run comes in for the Fighting Saints. That is not an error in case you're scoring at home.
Or up in the box. Thanks, Austin.
8-2 Carroll. Runner on first, nobody out. The Fighting Saints respond with 2 runs of their own after Providence scored the first 2 runs of the afternoon in the top of the 6th inning. This ball was laced right at the third baseman, and she could not make the play. I don't think any of us could have made that play. That runner is going to be easily thrown out at second. Thomas trying to steal second. Liebert says, I don't think so.
And that's Maine.
Excuse me, Maine.
Yeah, my apologies. The catcher for Providence. Not hitting today at all, Maine. Just a defensive player, and obviously showing why she is a defensive player. Hosing Thomas. I was going to say a second ago Sunshine represents the run rule winning run, but now
scenario has flipped a little bit.
Yep.
That one's lifted to left field. Should be an easy play. And it is. Go from runner on, nobody outs, to 2 quick outs in about 2 pitches.
Sammy Labrum now for the Saints. Single, double so far today. Came around to score on one of those singles. Some good hitting for her.
She's finding the barrel.
Mm-hmm. Well, if you sit in foul territory in this field, Austin, that the hill rolls the ball back down to you if you want to collect some souvenirs.
0-1 count on Labrum. Nobody on, 2 outs for Carroll. That one's upstairs from White.
You know, at some parks you go and like softball games, if you get a ball, you get $1 off the concession stand or whatever. So I'm going to ask our producer between this doubleheader if I can go down there and set my mic up. Get $1 hot dog.
Not sure they're doing concessions on this afternoon series.
Oh, okay. I think they might. I'll be checking. I'll be checking between games, so we'll see. I'll give you an update for all of you that join us about 30 minutes after this one ends.
Of course, we got a doubleheader here live on SWX. Austin Parr, Jack Marshall on the call for you. Providence and Carroll to close out the Cascade Collegiate Conference regular season. Can you say the CCC 5 times fast?
No, I wasn't a good. I failed speech therapy.
This one's popped up into left field. Gonna be the final out of the inning, but the Fighting Saints add 2 more. A 6-run lead over the Argos as we head to the final frame. Kennedy Venner continues her dominance today, striking out the Argos hitters as we head to the final frame here, the Fighting Saints against the Argos. Carroll leads 8-2 with playoff implications on the line. If Carroll goes on to win this one and the doubleheader that we will be bringing you live, of course, on SWX, they will punch their ticket to the postseason. Austin Parr alongside Jack Marshall, 10 strikeouts on the afternoon for Venner. What has impressed you most about her?
Yeah, I mean, that strikeout ability and just really how fast she's pumped into the zone. And kind of, it wasn't until that last inning where we saw Providence even get what felt like a chance to score some runs. So just her ability to limit base runners has really helped the Saints, and obviously their bats have helped her out. She's in line for a win.
Still pumping the gas in there. You can hear the pop of the glove. That's great sound work right there. That first pitch on the outside corner, second one fouled off, bringing the count to 0-2. But when you hear that pop from the catcher, you know that ball is coming in quickly.
Yeah, and you could hear the umpire obviously yell strike immediately.
I don't think the strike call has anything to do with the speed of the pitch, but well, yeah, we'll go with that.
Well, it's kind of like an ASMR experience. You hear the pop in the mitt, and then you hear like.
That's my favorite thing. You shape your glove. I don't know if everybody knows, but the way you shape your glove is you put a ball in there, and then you wrap it with rubber bands. You stick it under your mattress. That's the best way to shape your glove. You sleep on it for about 2 to 3 nights, and that's it. A lot of people like to use the boiling water, a lot of different tricks with the oil and the balm to get the glove worked in. No, you don't need that. Just put a softball in there, wrap it up, rubber bands under the mattress, 2-3 days, that thing will start popping.
Okay. Now I know what I'm doing after we finish this game.
Of course, you got to put it on the opposite side of the mattress that you're sleeping on. How about another strikeout for Kennedy Venner? 1-1 on the afternoon for number 10. Impressive afternoon for Kennedy Venner as she pulls the string out from that one. Off-speed pitch breaks the knees of another Providence hitter. 2 outs away from a victory as she pumps in another strike.
Yeah, you saw there that pitch just fell out of the zone below it, and White, the other pitcher, was at bat and just kind of fooled her with it a little bit.
Drops down the knee, gets the signal, rocks and fires. Another strike in there for Venner. Count moves to 0-2.
Venner now over 100 pitches on the day at 103. Shaping up to be a great outing for her, as I was saying at the end of last inning. Came in over 4 ERA, now sub 3.
0-2 pitch. Swung on and missed, and she continues to mow down the Providence hitters. Number 12 on the afternoon for Kennedy Venner. There's a reason why she's top 3 in the Cascade Collegiate Conference as far as strikeouts are concerned, and she is showing it today. Number 12. 1 out remaining from Carroll getting the first of 2 possible victories to send them to the postseason.
Ruiz 0 for 3 today as well. And Venner has really dominated against the bottom of this lineup from the Argos. None of them getting hits.
Second pitch on the way, called a strike, catches the inside corner, and we are 1 strike away from Carroll getting the victory. Venner gets the sign and the 0-2 pitch. Just outside, misses her mark. The count goes to 1-2. 8-0 Carroll. We've got game number 2 coming up right after this, about 30 minutes after this one finishes.
Venner, only a junior, by the way, too.
Venner gets a signal and the 0-2. That one's laced into the outfield. Going to be a base hit for Providence. And the Argos remain alive.
That's the first base hit from anyone in the bottom 4 players in the lineup.
That's why we bring you. That's a great stat right there.
Yeah, there's been 2 base runners, but they're both reached on errors. Most all of them have struck out as Sydney Wilting, the 9-hole hitter, up.
Great piece of hitting right there from Providence. First one is popped up to the shortstop, and that's going to do it. Carroll College gets the victory. 8-2 over the fight. 8-2 over the Argos. And that is victory number 1 of 2 wins that Carroll needs to punch their ticket to the postseason. How about Kennedy Venner today?
Yeah, final line, 7 innings, 2 earned runs, 12 strikeouts, not a single walk. Obviously, you could call it a quality start and a win today in Nelson Stadium.
How about Lizzie Barra as well? 3 for 3 with a walk on the afternoon as Carroll College gets the victory 8-2 over Providence. Of course, we have game number 2 of this doubleheader coming up in about 30 minutes. Austin Parr for Jack Marshall. We will see you in about 25 minutes.
Yep, playoff implications on the line. The Saints want to win away.